to the K.
To the K. To the K.
Time to get all out as we talk our reaction and review for 2023's edition of All Out. Yes, what a wonderful introduction that was. Let's not beat around the bush, shall we? 0 hour. We had the God, what did they even call it? It was like had some stupid.
Bro,
name.
it was the
Over something battle royal. Damn it! Oh, not like over the limit. What was it called? Over budget.
Over budget. Thank you. I know it was financially referential.
Yeah. But apparently the winner got a considerable donation to make to a charity of their choosing. So yeah, it was kind of just like, let's get as many people on the card as we can do. Stick a battle royal on. So fair play. Last two came down to Brian Cage and Hangman Adam Page.
Cage and Page
for the wage, and yeah, Hangman got the win.
Hangman.
And was cheered by the Chicago fans.
Interesting.
It's interesting.
I guess he can hang.
Hey, guess you can hang, man. Yeah, so sort of a match that happened kind of thing. Yeah. But
I like the idea, it was a bit of fun, and the charity thing was just added a nice little touch.
Yeah. It's but like, do you think Tony had to go like, I've got nothing for you on the main card, and Hangman's like, what the fuck? He's like, well, I can give you like 50 grand to donate to a charity. And he's like,
yeah, right.
Oh, okay, cool. Maybe.
Little Adam's charity. Like, wait a minute.
Yeah. Charity of me. So yeah.
Yeah, not a cool idea though.
It was indeed. We then got 3-on-3 action. Sky Blue teaming up with Willow Nightingale and Hikaru Shida take on Mercedes Martinez. Trying my best not to say Mercedes Monet. Diamante and Athena. And yeah, Sky Blue picked up the win for her team in this one. So obviously Chicago native. Nice to see more. And to be fair,
I'm glad they give her like a little bit of a push in this sense, because she's definitely got a hell of a future ahead. So
yeah, I was surprised by the amount she's actually worked for AEW. She's like the second or third most matches this year so far.
Really? Wow.
For AEW. So
impressive stuff.
I think she's just always on the cards, like whether it's like across Rampage or Collision or anywhere. So yeah, fair play to her. She's absolutely killing it. She's earning
future world champion.
I'd like to think so, to be fair. I think she needs a little bit more confidence, I would say, in front of the fans, because she kind of comes out and I don't know, she still looks a little bit awkward at times from a character standpoint. But when she gets in the ring, it's always good stuff. So
indeed.
I'm interested to see whether we'll get Sky Blue and Willow at some point, because obviously BFFs.
I think that's an inevitability, isn't it?
Who's going to turn there? But
be like going, I wonder if we're ever going to get Triple H and Shawn. It's like, you fucking definitely will.
100%. So yeah, another fun little match on the pre-show, and the final match of the pre-show, weird as fuck. Dennis Rodman in the corner of the Acclaimed.
Of course.
So trios titles on the line. Acclaimed defending against Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, and Satnam Singh, and Acclaimed retain.
Of course, because everybody loves the Acclaimed.
Yes, they do. Just gotta say as well,
the new belts?
I fucking love them new belts.
I love the touch
Genius.
of the scissor bits.
Yes,
that is just a real nice finishing touch.
Did you see on Twitter Anthony Bowen's put like here's the artwork I submitted to them, and he's literally drawn it terribly of like little like belt design that he'd done with like scissors like there for the belt. So fair play to him. What a fantastic idea.
Yeah,
I love the
quality,
the proper into it and behind it and stuff. And like they're just an absolute merch machine. Really?
Oh yeah. It's crazy, isn't it? How much unique stuff they're putting out there, like, and yet they still they should be top merch sellers.
Yeah.
The shirts, the foam fingers, now the new replica belts that you'll be able to get. Like, they should be just hauling.
They're coming up with stuff all the time though. Like they said something about like no longer House of Black, it's House of Ass. And I'm like, I would buy a House of Ass t-shirt.
Hell yeah!
I want a House of Ass tee. So yeah, make it happen. Get it on sale.
Indeed.
I want some of that. But yeah. Any chance to the scissor, now you can do it with the belt.
Indeed.
What more can you want? So we kicked off the how do you feel about this? So we kicked off the main card with the world champion defending the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships against the winner of the Battle Royal Dark Order.
I mean, it was fun, I guess.
Like, for me, and we'll come on to this, from a up and down match card standpoint, this was the weakest All Out they've had. Maybe, at least over the last 2 years, yeah. And I'm not just because Punk wasn't there or nothing like that, but like the world title wasn't on the line in the show.
True. I get what you're saying, but I do like where they're headed with this because I feel like they're headed
in the
right direction.
I'm going to praise it in a minute.
And I feel like they deliberately had to do this in a sort of disrespectful way to break MJF in to push him into what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And we can talk about that if you like. But I feel like this is part of that story, isn't it? That he went he went on before Joe and he went doing anything main event wise, and it's like, has Adam turned him soft?
You know? Maybe. I didn't really get the whole thing with the neck. Like he was selling the injury and he had to go off and then he came back in. Like it was like the fans loved it. You know what I mean? It was fun. It just goes to show how over he is as a babyface or a heel. But that kind of came out of nowhere for me. But then the thing with Joe, I was like, oh, okay.
Joe was an absolute fucking menace. I love it.
Yeah. You like the stuff he's done it all in, and then obviously this stuff now, the throwback to NXT. It's I think on Dynamite this week, MJF's going to be kind of speaking about Joe and all that kind of stuff. So he's leading somewhere.
I think the strange, to be honest, this says a lot about the situation before Punk left for me, because you're saying about the world title not being defended on the show. That to me says about the respect they were putting on MJF's actual world title compared to CM Punk's real world title, because that was clearly going to be a thing, and it couldn't be. You know what I mean? So it's basically Punk made his own belt, and we were going to put more respect on that than MJF's. That was kind of weird, but obviously that never ended up happening for obvious reasons. Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah, it is strange. I'd always like to see the world title defended, especially All Out.
Would you have been more satisfied if the real world title was defended?
I don't know, maybe. But then we wouldn't have got the match that we had between Ricky Starks and Danielson, which we'll come on to, which was an epic match. So.
Indeed.
Strange way to kick off the show. Obviously, babyfaces get the win. Everyone gets happy, and then the Samoa Joe stuff was platinum.
I love the Samoa Joe stuff.
I don't want to shit on it too much, but strange. Then this match just didn't need to happen. I feel like this was put on there to get that moment between MJF. I don't want to shit on Shane Taylor, but I don't watch Ring of Honor. I don't know who he is.
Again, but this is where I don't want to say too much on it, because it's very much this is probably more of a thing for Ring of Honor people.
Yeah, which is fine, but it's an AEW pay-per-view.
Yeah. But it was a menace, and I love it. So.
Yeah, we go from defending the Ring of Honor tag titles to defending the Ring of Honor TV title.
And here we are at All Out.
Yes, exactly. So this was a match that happened. Joe was obviously going to win. I think in the prediction series that we do, 99% of people had Joe winning this. It was obviously.
Yeah.
I feel like the placing on the card made sense to get that moment with MJF, and obviously we love that moment, so that's fine. But I don't know. It was just a bit did this need to be on the card? Could you have done that some other way? But we then moved on to Luchasaurus and Darby Allin. I like this, It's good. You're not a fan?
I don't know. I think Christian has a certain way with anything he does, and it was certainly enjoyable. But the same way you love a mirror match, I hate when there's stuff like this.
Really? I thought, to be fair, a lot of people thought Darby was going to get the win because we were like, oh, fucking hot potato. Darby's 87-time champion. That
don't get me wrong. There was the right result. I'll give you that. I don't know. I didn't really need to see Luchasaurus and Darby, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I enjoyed it as the David and Goliath stuff. You're not a massive fan of that though. I think Rey
is screwing that for me. Yeah.
But I like the David and Goliath stuff. I also liked. It seems to have set something up for me with Darby and Nick Wayne, because Darby had it won, and then Christian was about to take out Nick Wayne on the outside. That distracted Darby and allowed Luchasaurus to get the win. So this is the first time Darby seems to have cared about someone other than himself and his daddy Sting, of course. But so there's something there, I think, and it's whether Nick Wayne.
Darby's like, I care now.
It's whether Nick Wayne does end up turning on him or something, and we end up going down that route, which would be fascinating. He did swerve me a bit here though, because at the end of the match, Christian had him set over the concerto. I was like, fuck off, Edge is coming out, isn't he? And I didn't even think he was going there, but it was set up so beautifully for Edge to come make the save. And then
got a bit of
the rest of the locker room come out.
I was got a deliberate reference that though.
Maybe. But they definitely had me going, oh shit. And
we gotta buy that time for Edge coming out.
Yeah. Precisely 90 days.
No, he's not on a no-compete. It's just the end of his contract, isn't it? He can turn up whenever the fuck he wants.
Maybe.
but we know his contract expires in September. We just don't know when. So
this is true. This is true. But yeah, I enjoyed it.
Good. I'm glad you felt that way.
Speaking of things I enjoyed, big meaty men slapping meat. Powerhouse, Hobbs and Miro.
In all fairness, delivered more than I thought it would.
It did.
Miro has obviously always been an absolute ledge. And Hobbs has always had something as well, but I don't know why I didn't really think anything about the match until we got the match, and I was like, actually, no, sound.
I liked as well. I think Hobbs' character's kind of evolved a little bit. He's had some stupid shit with like QTV and all that, but like he just was doing like Taz moves, and I was like, well, yeah, of course he was a member of Team Taz, wasn't he? He was like T-bone suplexing everyone everywhere, and I was like, that kind of makes sense, like a throwback to obviously his teachings as part of Team Taz. But nice. Miro gets the win. I was a little bit surprised. I think we said both of these needed a win.
Yeah, it was a difficult one to call in that sense, but I do think that they seem to be leading somewhere with Miro, so I understand why they give him the win, because I think we're actually going to get some sort of story and some sort of screen time for Miro. So as long as somebody got something out of it.
Yeah. But obviously, after the match, Powerhouse goes for the handshake. They shake hands, but then he attacks Miro. And then CJ Perry makes an appearance. And yeah, basically Miro shits himself and kind of walks off. And CJ's just like, okay then. So obviously he did run out his hot flexible wife. Like they went through the effort of getting a fucking video made for her that literally just said hot flexible wife. Like the best Titantron I've ever seen in my life. But yeah, so by all accounts, she's not signed to a contract, but whether we're going to see more of her, I think we probably will.
I think that's the plan.
So, yeah, interesting little kind of surprise there. I thought it was.
Yeah.
She got a good pop as well.
Not the surprise appearance I was expecting in All Out, but hey ho.
Indeed. Who was it? Edge.
Yeah. Now, when you expect, like, we're going to bring in some sort of superstar, and I just wasn't expecting. I have no disrespect to it at all. I just wasn't expecting DJ.
Yeah. We then got the TBS title on the line. Kris Statlander defending against Ruby Soho.
Statlander rocking the Zoolander look for the record.
Yes. I suppose that makes a lot more sense when it's Statlander and Zoolander. I think that's the first time I made that connection. I just thought she really loved Ben Stiller. But we got the match. Saraya was at ringside to support Ruby. And yeah, there was a really good contest between the two of them. Both of them really good in the ring. And Ruby went to go and get the spray paint to spray Zoolander herself in the face. And Toni Storm appears from under the ring and stopped her and laughed maniacally. I'm loving this new Toni Storm character. This is the first time I think she's actually properly nailed like a character.
I must say, I don't think you were massively over on the Toni Storm we had in WWE, were you? So
not at all. Well, I don't think they knew what they were doing with it. Like, she'd come out and have like fucking cream pies, but it was cream pies. But she'd come out and have cream pies. Okay.
It's okay.
I need to stop saying cream pie.
Okay.
Having a weird feud with Charlotte, and then the next minute she was released, and it was just like, yeah. Whereas, she's gone through quite a few different.
I mean, it's a massive character development here, isn't it? Really. And like you say, yeah, it's working.
Yeah, proper like weird kind of old Hollywood diva kind of like, I'm gonna throw my shoes at you kind of thing. So, but yeah, that allowed Statlander to retain, and the outcasts are seemingly no more. Well, at least Tony isn't in the minute.
Shame.
Fucking fantastic match this was, right? Fair play, massive props to Bryan Danielson. This, by all accounts, was going to be Punk versus Starks. I don't know if it was ever meant to be in a strap match.
I don't think it was. I think the strap match was to honour Bray.
You think?
Well, the last strap match Bryan had was Bray.
Fair.
I feel like they deliberately did a strap match for Bryan to be able to honour Bray a little bit. I don't think Punk and Starks were ever going to have a strap match.
Yeah.
Could be wrong, but...
Yeah, well, they had the thing where he beat Ricky Steamboat with his belt. So I was like, oh, is it to do with that? I'm going to slap you with some leather too, kind of thing. But you absolutely could be that as well. But yeah, it seemed like it was going to be Punk versus Starks for the real world championship or whatever. That all got fucked up. And then, what a fucking substitute to have waiting in the wings for Danielson. By all accounts, wasn't meant to be there till October.
Yeah.
Had to miss All In. So the fact that he was there.
The fact that he's like, he won't be fully healed.
No.
And they've had to have been very careful. And the credit he gave, because I think he sort of broke kayfabe, didn't he, in the scrum, and even admitted that he'd have to when he wants to give credit to Ricky for looking after him in that match. And I think that fair play to him, because you forget that sometimes that the like you get into the character work and you forget they are looking after each other, and Ricky really performed in that sense. So
yeah.
It was an all-round great match, but
it was interesting. This though, I think, It was brutal. I mean, to be fair, in terms of Danielson protecting his arm, they did a fantastic job there. He said in the media scrum after the show that it was like smoke and mirrors. He never threw a single punch with his right arm, but like you'd never know that. Do you know what I mean? So he didn't take away from the match. But yeah, the fact what they did here with like it's the Bret Austin moment in it. Let's be honest. It was let's try and build him and be like he's so gutsy that he didn't tap out. He passed out from the pain and from losing consciousness. So they tried to do like a career making moment, which was fine. I think it could have been done elsewhere on the card, which I'll come to in a bit. But I think Starks, fair play to him. He took an absolute lashing, literally strapped fucking in the face, on the back, in the body, in the balls, probably.
He took his licks, didn't
he? Yeah. So massive respect for him. So it got the job done. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, the Bret Austin homage. It's one of my favorite matches of all time. I don't know if I would have used it here, but I think it still did what they intended.
Yeah. Fair.
But
yeah, but all around quality match. Yeah.
All around, yeah. Probably maybe match of the night.
But I would say so in all fairness.
Yeah. We then followed on with, unfortunately, what I feel like is just a bit of filler. So we had Kingston and Shibata taking on Claudio and Yuta, and it was just...
Yeah, I wasn't over on this, to be honest.
No. I get there's like a rivalry there with Kingston and Cesaro, Claudio from the old Ring of Honor days and stuff. Like, I get it, but it hasn't come across really well, in my opinion. And like, I don't think they're not getting him across the way they need to. Like, they did a weird promo. I don't know if you saw it. They did a weird promo where Claudio's basically uppercutting Yuta in the face all the way through the promo, saying that this is what happens to him every day and it's to toughen him up and all that. And it's like...
The trouble is, I think what they're trying to do with Yuta, it definitely isn't landing. I don't think the crowd are behind him just because you want him to be a thing. I'm sure he's super talented, and I can see why they sort of gone, oh yeah, he'll be the future of the business, but they're not actually helping him here at this point.
No, he feels like the odd one out, unfortunately, for me in the BCC. So yeah, I wasn't expecting much from this. I don't think I got much from this. It was just sort of a calm down match from the strap match. Yeah, basically. But I can't remember who won. I think it was Claudio, and it was Claudio. It was the way they won it as well. It was like just an uppercut, and then that was it. It was
he takes them every day.
Yeah. We then went on to another fantastic match. To be fair to it, with a surprising outcome as well. In my mind, so we had Omega Takeshita. Wasn't quite Omega Ospreay.
Never will be.
But
with your boy Ospreay there, mate, being best in the world.
If you're gonna, try and do a tribute match, then it wasn't a bad effort. I think really good. Takeshita,
you're gonna
really
get impressed me wrestling here, aren't you?
Yeah, of course you will. It's Kenny Omega at the end of the day, but Takeshita, who I just kind of didn't really, not that I didn't rate him, but I was just kind of like, people are really big on this guy. I'm not too sure why. And you can see why. He was really good. These two had great chemistry together, and a clean win. Obviously, Don Callis had the screwdriver that he was going to use. Ended up going into the ring, and it was like, okay, that's not going to work then. Then Takeshita reach for it as he's got him up for the one-winged angel, and he didn't end up using it, and he still got the win clean. So I was like,
interesting stuff.
Damn. So I don't know what this means for Kenny now, whether he's going to be taking a break or something for a bit, because I don't know where he kind of goes from here.
No, it's a weird one, isn't it?
I don't really know where the whole Don Callis thing goes from here, because they had the Jericho fallout.
Honestly, I don't think they have a plan for Don Callis, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so interesting, but fantastic match.
Yeah, some great technical wrestling, I suppose, is what you can say with that one.
Indeed. Which then takes us to the co-main event. We had the Young Bucks teaming up with the AEW Tag Champs FTR to take on Bullet Club Gold.
Interesting.
Do you know what? Bullet Club Gold are growing on me, man. I think the Guns are a great addition.
I think this is actually going to really excel the Guns. I've started growing on me, I must admit.
Yeah.
I do think their entrance is pretty cool.
It's very cool. I'm still not a massive fan of Juice Robinson, I won't lie, but he's okay. And Jay White, I can kind of see why people think he's a big deal.
Yeah, this is the start of him becoming one, I think.
Yeah.
Like, for people like us who didn't really know him anyway.
And also, with Punk being gone now, if you look at the Collision graphics, he's now taking centre stage instead of old Phil.
So it's going to be Jay White's show.
Maybe Jay White Danielson stuff happening. I'm sure people would love to see that.
But again, they just need to sell him to us who didn't really follow him around New Japan.
That's it.
Basically.
That's what AEW really needs to get better at doing, is that not everybody watches everything. And just because Tony's like a massive New Japan mark and he loves it all and he watches all of it and he all loves Ring of Honor history and all that, some people just haven't seen a lot of it. So he needs to do a better job of introducing it and more character work instead of just a legacy of fantastic matches. For some people, like Will Ospreay, it doesn't really matter, right? No. But then you give him that segment you had with Jericho and he fucking just blew it away, you know, with like I was like, I didn't know he could talk.
But this is the thing, some of the people he's bringing in, New Japan wise, aren't the best talkers. And then what do you do with that? Because you either need to do some promo packages or do something to help us here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've said it before, I'll say it again. You can say what you want about Vince Russo. One thing he did fantastic in the Attitude Era, everybody up and down the card had a story.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm not saying there isn't stories here, because there is.
Yeah.
Like
Jay White as an example, right? I'm not saying he's necessarily a bad talker, but I've not heard him say a thing, or like you say, there's no story there, so he's just around. So how does that sell you on him? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Even like the Bullet Club to a degree, like it was that popular t-shirt and people bought it and stuff. Do people really know what the Bullet Club is, why it's here, what it stands for?
I think so.
Like, why is there a Bullet Club Gold now? What does that mean? We never really had an introduction, just we're going to wear Bullet Club, we're going to be...
Plus it's still Bullet Club in New Japan, isn't it?
Yeah.
So like, is that not a feud in the future?
Exactly. So like, shouldn't that be? Yeah. Or are they like in cahoots and they're just an extension of the Bullet Club? I don't really know. But yeah, so we had the whole FTR Young Bucks thing. They refused to shake hands after the different matches they've had. And they teamed up. And yeah, they basically, again, just got beat clean by Bullet Club Gold. So,
given all the Punk volatility, I'm intrigued. I was very intrigued by this relationship, but didn't seem to affect them.
No, and the fans, again, were kind of... There was a little bit of booing for the Young Bucks, but by the end, they were really into it. So, I'm surprised for Chicago. I thought that everyone would be booed out of the building, but that wasn't the case.
No, it ended up not hindering the pay-per-view too much.
Yeah. Even McKenny, people love Kenny. It's like, well,
everyone loves Kenny.
That's insane. But yeah, so Bullet Club Gold get the win. Hopefully it's the start of something good for them. Which takes us on to the main event, the international title on the line. Moxley, Cassidy.
Interesting choice for a main event.
It was good. It did deliver, to be fair. But this is what I mean.
I'm just more the status of that title being as high up as a main event match on their biggest pay-per-view, arguably.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean.
Surprising.
That's why I think you look up and down the cards, like, there should be a world title match closing it out, in my opinion, which this wasn't. So are they now trying to say this is like the Intercontinental title? Is this their version of Wembley 92? You know what I mean? The IC title can go on that.
Might be. I think they run the risk of discrediting the world title, though, which is the problem.
Yeah.
Well, you put it on MJF, he's had a decent run with it, and now it doesn't seem to have the status it had. It's not great.
No.
I'm not saying that's where they're going, but they run the risk of it.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I mean. I was kind of skeptical with this being the main event, but yeah, the two of them brought it. I think this is where I would like to see the Bret Austin spot, because Cassidy has gone undefeated with that belt for so long that it would have made sense
a lot more sense actually,
if he just didn't give up. Is that's the whole point of like he's fighting through injuries,
just passes out with his
do you know what I mean? Exactly. Like Terminator 2 shit, just like, you know what I mean? Then I'll cry just like I did when I watched that film. Probably still would cry now, to be fair. But yeah, that would be fucking brilliant actually. Like I'm even more annoyed that hasn't happened. But yeah, like that would have been the match to do it, I think. Like I don't think Starks needed it. Starks got the he's a badass stuff by the amount he got whipped by the thing. You didn't need to then pass out.
No, I think you're right. I think that's a shame. That should have been the way to go.
Yeah.
You listen to this, Tony. You know we're available to do some work on the booking front.
Just saying. But yeah, no, it was a good match. But Moxley now the new champion. It was spoiled, I think, beforehand because there was like an Irish promotion, a couple of other promotions announcing Jon Moxley appearing, and I'm like, why the fuck would Jon Moxley be there? Like, oh, international title. So it was like, well, obviously,
and now it all makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, we have a new international title, or champion.
A new international title.
Yeah, probably it was All Atlantic at one point. So now it's called the Blackpool title. Only defended in Blackpool. So yeah, I don't know what this means for Orange Cassidy now. I think he deserves a break, a little bit of time away. I think he has been very much there.
It's quite clearly been freshly squeezed.
Indeed, it's pulp everywhere. So yeah, that was All Out. I thought it was a decent show, to be fair. Like a lot of people, like I know Anthony Bowens, I know John Silver, people like that on Twitter have been like, you fucking marks. Every time you see a card, you think it's going to be shit, and we deliver. And they did. It was a good card, to be fair. I still think it could have been better. They still could have like stacked it a bit more. They could have done stuff which I don't know.
The booking choices are still very interesting. Like you say, there's some really incredible matches there.
Yeah.
But you still go, okay, I'm not quite sure why they did that.
Yeah. That's the missing ingredient for me. Like the matches always deliver. They're fantastic at what they do. It's the best pro wrestling company out there from a match standpoint. I've been very transparent and said, do you know what? I'm more of a storyline guy. I love seeing matches. I'm the first one to say Omega and Ospreay. I was like, fucking wow, watch this all the way through. A lot of matches, I don't even watch all the way through. Unless I'm watching it live, I'd be like,
damn you, TiVo.
You know what I mean? And just kind of skim it a little. But yeah, I try my best to watch as much of them as I can. And yeah, I wish there's more story to get invested in sometimes.
That's my only hope.
But yeah, I thought it was a good show. Better than Payback. But I still
agree with that. How are you digging? You're a big storyline guy. Are you digging this whole firing CM Punk and having some sort of shenanigans every pay-per-view storyline? How are you finding that?
I mean, we talk about long-term booking. You know what I mean? Like this is
super long
next level. Yeah. Going to get him to show up in WWE as well for a bit, and then he's going to come back. It's like people won't be expecting. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, crazy stuff. And Cody's still yet to return, but that's going to happen. Exactly. That's clearly a story too.
Yeah. Like people haven't realised when he's on about going on the excursion. That excursion's WWE coming back. Yeah. With the belt.
Clearly,
dropping it in the trash can.
Yeah.
Come on, guys, easy.
Obviously, long-term booking.
Anyway, but yeah, what do you think of All Out? You know, did you go all out or all out? Let us know in the comments. Drop a like, hit subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're listening, download the episodes, rate us 5 stars, and we will catch you on the next one.